place I go to when no one knows me. It's not lonely, it's a necessary thing.
Hi, I'm Medley Nayak and I'm on a 14-day trip across Georgia, exploring every region of this insanely beautiful country. In the last episode, we were in Kutaisi, hiking canyons, riding through emerald blue water, and basically discovering a version of Georgia I never expected. And today, we are going even higher, up into the mountains, into Svaneti, one of the most magical, remote, and breathtaking parts of Georgia. Pine forests, cloudy skies, tiny wooden houses, and that cold mountain air hitting your face, it suddenly feels like you entered a different country altogether. This is the side of Georgia that quietly steals your heart before you even realize it. Are you ready? Let's go! One last time before I leave this beautiful city of Kutaisi. I think I'll miss this place. It was really a beautiful city and enjoyed staying here for 2 nights. The people were the sweetest and kind of feel like I'm living a part of me over here. It is not as touristy as Tbilisi, but it's definitely a beautiful city over here. After Kutaisi, today's journey started super early at 8 am in the morning. I hopped into this mini bus with a bunch of strangers who honestly looked like they were heading for a week-long Everest expedition. Hiking poles, huge backpacks, and I'm sitting with my tiny bag thinking, am I in the wrong group or what? Kutaisi to Mestia is roughly 230 kilometers and it takes about 5 to 6 hours depending on weather for you to reach there. We drove a bit, took a quick coffee plus washroom stop and continued towards the mountain. And let me tell you, it was raining in Kutaisi when we left and it rained almost the entire way. It was pretty to watch from inside the bus, but I was just praying this wouldn't ruin my entire trip. Halfway through the journey, the landscapes changed completely. I could see the foggy mountains, rivers running beside the road, that chilly air hitting your face when you crack the window open. It felt like Georgia suddenly switched to its Himalayan mode. About 45 minutes before Mestia, we stopped at the Nguri Dam, the massive hydroelectric dam that supplies power to most of the Georgia. It looks straight out of sci-fi movie, very dramatic, chained and so very cool. Just like in India, we got stuck up here on our way to Mestia from Kutaisi. There is a huge truck breakdown that's happened and it's almost blocking all the way. Only the small cars can pass. So the bigger minivan, this is our van, has stopped and few others also. After waiting for 1.5 hours almost, there's a help that's come trying to pull it. Technically, इसका टायर फंस गया है. The mud is wet, so टायर नीचे गया हुआ है. So they are trying to pull it out. Now as you can see, बहुत ज़्यादा गाड़ी खड़ी है, जितना भी दिख रहा है आपको. After Nguri Dam, we finally reached Mestia around 4:30 p.m. an hour and a half late because of the traffic jam. But the moment we entered, it was just wow. It genuinely reminded me of Ladakh. Those towering mountains, the small stone houses, fresh cold air, narrow roads leading to the bigger skies. I just felt like Mestia has this raw, peaceful energy that just makes you feel happy instantly.
Everybody got the reason, everybody got their way. We're just catching and releasing.
Now it was time for me to check into my Airbnb. Like I said, what's life even without some drama, right? I had booked a different room, but because their water line had issues, my host shifted me to his friend's hotel and that turned out to be the best blessing. A balcony view room right above the river. Everything was so amazing here. The sound of water, crisp mountain breeze, the blue sky, the cozy bed. I don't think I could have found a better room even if I tried. What do you think about this view? I don't think there is anything more beautiful than this at this moment. Everything was worth it. The drive, the nature, and I'm so glad I found this guest house over here. Just at 30 lari per night. Amazing. I mean, I could just sit here day and night and watch the water flow, watch those beautiful mountains. It is so beautiful. Look at that.
If I breathe real slow, I let it out and let it in.
I quickly had 2 apples for lunch because that's literally all I had time for. And before I could even settle in, it was already time to leave for the Chaladi Glacier trek at 5 pm, a trek I didn't know I had signed up for. And for a second, I thought, after 6 hours of traveling, a trek? Seriously, Medley? But anyway, I layered up, took a deep breath, and stepped out. I reached the meeting point, met our guide, and found out it was just 4 of us girls doing this trek together, which already felt like a cute little adventure squad. We drove about 40-45 minutes from Mestia to the starting point of the trek, and honestly, that drive itself put me in a whole different mood. The mountains, the mist, the quiet roads, I don't know if it was the air or the views or just the vibe, but something about Soneti instantly made me so happy and calm. Fewer tourists, fewer cars, just pure silence and nature everywhere. Okay, this is gonna be our hiking trail. कल जैसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं है जो कैनियन ट्रिप पे हम लोग गए थे वॉकिंग करके. This is nothing. I mean, that was nothing in front of this. This is gonna be some real hiking, and I now get why all the Europeans and basically people who are into hiking love to come over here and hike. Guys, I did a mistake of just staying one night here in Swaneti, but I tell you, stay here for 2 nights, minimum 2 nights. The trail starts with this peaceful forest walk, tall pine trees on both sides, a freezing river running right next to you, and that crisp mountain air that gives your brain a natural detox. Yes, please. The path is wide and easy at first. Wooden bridges, mud trails, shaded walkways. Very doable even if you aren't a hiking person. Our guide kept the pace super comfortable and we were all chatting, laughing and taking videos like a typical girls on a mountain trip. This is the next hiking trail. बीच में बारिश भी हो रहा है. It's drizzling, but it is beautiful. पॉन्चो लेके जरूर आना यहाँ पे जब आते वक्त, or you can wear your active wears like the rain jackets and all of those things. As we went deeper, the sound of the river got louder, the temperature dropped, and the whole landscape suddenly felt very dramatic. We are halfway into the hike and probably another 15 minutes we're gonna reach the summit. जो भी है, I don't know. I actually don't know anything, to be honest. It just feels like a different world altogether. Really, like Tbilisi तो कुछ भी नहीं है जॉर्जिया में. I feel that way. The last bit of the trek gets a little rocky, but nothing crazy. And then out of nowhere, you see this beautiful Chaladi Glacier. Huge, ancient, powerful, and right below it, that icy blue river flowing straight from the glacier just felt so mesmerizing. So we have reached the summit right now. This is the last stop of the hike or trek, whatever you can call. And जो भी आप वो देख रहे हो, the stone है, that is not stone. That is a formation of ice wall. ऊपर से पत्थर गिरने की वजह से पूरा मिट्टी उससे लगा हुआ है, and that is why it's looking like a wall. But it is honestly Black Sea का ice formation. If you can see there on the top, you can see the snow-capped mountains. ये भी icy है. If you can see यहाँ पे, it looks like iceberg. We spent some time just taking it all in, touching the freezing water, playing with it, clicking lots and lots and lots of photos, trying to process the fact that we were so close to the Russia border, which is so wild. This was one of those I am going to remember this forever moments for me. After the trek, our guide suggested we all grab dinner together and all 4 of us instantly said yes. He took us to this small local restaurant where the food was actually so good. We talked, we giggled, toasted Georgian style and somehow ended up doing 3 rounds of cha-cha, and mind you, each shot is 50% alcohol, which basically means 150% of madness running through my body. Of course, I was tipsy, and after dinner we walked back to our hotel. The weather was freezing cold and I could literally see fog coming out of my mouth with every breath I took. One of the girls from the trek was staying in the same guest house as me, so we walked back together. One thing I wanted to do the most is to spend some time in my balcony with myself before sleeping. It was full moon night, the gushing sound of the river, that soft mountain silence. It genuinely felt like a night in heaven. I put on some soft music, soaked it all in, and ended the day with a very grateful heart. The next morning started slow and cold. My trip to Ushkuli was starting around 10 a.m. in the morning, so for the first time on this trip, I actually had a slow, peaceful morning. I went to this tiny cafe next to my guest house, ordered a simple omelette and bread, and the owner surprised me with a free cup of coffee. Sometimes small things like this remind you just how kind and generous people all over the world are, or even for that matter, Georgians really are. I am so happy that I get to eat breakfast finally. Now, if you're wondering what even is this place called Ushkurli, then let me tell you that it's the last inhabited region in the north of Georgia, right before the Russia border. It's only about 45 kilometers from Mestia, but mountain roads have their own personality with twists and turns, so it takes almost 2 hours to reach to Ushkurli. But trust me, the drive is worth every turn it takes. Snow-covered peaks straight ahead, tiny wooden villages on the way, a river flowing right next to the door. It's the kind of journey where you naturally put your phone down and just stare outside the window without letting your eyes even blink for a minute.
It feels like the first time, every moment I'm with.
Somewhere along the way, you also see Mount Shkara, Georgia's highest peak, and right beyond those mountains lies the country of Russia. It feels wild to think you're literally traveling to the edge of the country.
It's like a river wild, running as free as it can be.
And if you're a trekking person, most travelers actually hike from Mestia to Ushkuli over 4 days and 3 nights. I'm not a big hiker, but after seeing this valley with raw beauty and nature, even I was like, maybe next time mentally, let's give a try. We also stopped at the Love Tower on the way. The name is very cute and adorable, but the folklore behind it is honestly a little intense. Still, it's one of those places that makes you think about how people lived here ages ago. So right now, we have come to Love Tower, which is on the way to Ushgulli. And यहाँ पे माना जाता है कि कोई तो लड़की यहाँ पे गांव में was in love with the hunter, and the hunter had gone into the forest for hunting, but apparently he died there, but she didn't know about it, and she kept waiting at this particular point every single day. यहाँ पे आके बैठ जाती थी, and her father just asked her, you know, why have you been depressed? Why have you come here? So then she told that, you know, I'm in love with this guy who's already married and who has kids, but since people over here are Orthodox Christian, it's not allowed, you know, to remarry or something in their rules. So she just kept coming over here. This is where they were meeting each other. In the olden days, of course, you didn't have communication, you didn't have a lot of telephone or anything to connect with, so you wait at a particular place for your lover, right? So that's what she did over here, and her father told her that it's fine, let's not care about tradition or whatever the rules the Christianity has. I'll build a tower for you so that you can live inside that as a house and wait for your lover until he comes back. But unfortunately, the lover was dead in the forest, and he never came back. That's the story behind this love tower. And also माना जाता है कि अगर आप यहाँ पे आके विश करोगे कि जो भी आपको पसंद है, जिसके साथ भी आपको शादी करना है, या फिर if you're single and you're looking for a partner, then coming here and wishing over here for your future partner, it will really bring all your dreams into reality. Since I'm single, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna do that, and let's see if it works or not. Please come outside. This is how you get to. I thought we were supposed to pay. Tulari, where are we?
Actually, when we leave.
Oh, when you do, okay. It's supposed to go way up there like that. Oops, be careful. अब मेरी बारी है ऊपर जाने की. It's really not easy to get over here. मैं तो पूरा लेट के जा रही हूँ because it's made of wood. literally like, can you see? ये wooden floor ऐसे है. You have to come from there inside, and the platform is like this. So be really careful. This is where she was waiting for her partner. Okay, to be honest, यहाँ पे ऐसा कुछ amazing नहीं है. It's like a 3-story building house जहाँ पे windows है, and there is like wooden bamboo platform and like थोड़ा बहुत like furniture रखा हुआ है यहाँ पे. But it's still a different kind of experience, you know. And yes, I wished for my future partner. Let's see if it's gonna work or no. Right after the Love Tower, we finally reached Ushkuli. And honestly, the first thing that hits you is the view. यार क्या जगह है ये? You get to see these mountains everywhere, clouds sitting on the peaks, and this tiny village tucked right in the middle of it. इतना सुंदर है कि मैं क्या बताऊं. Ushkuli itself is a very tiny village, and it has around 150-200 people live there. It has got stone homes, muddy little lanes, cows chilling in the middle of the road like VIPs. It literally makes you feel like time has just taken a pause over here. We walked around the lanes for a bit, and something about this place feels very real, very raw, very special. You get to see these beautiful old swan towers everywhere that adds like an aesthetic to the picturesque scenery. But let me tell you, these tall stone towers were built by families over here to protect their children during wars and attacks. They are very simple, strong, and they stand out beautifully against the mountains. We even got an opportunity to go inside one of the tower, and it was exactly how you'd imagine. Narrow staircase, old stone walls, barely any light, but seeing it in person gives you a very different kind of respect for the people who lived here. After exploring this beautiful village of Ushkuli, we grabbed a warm lunch. Nothing fancy, just basic Georgian food with some bread and soup. But in that cold mountain air, it tasted extra comforting. Ushkuli is one of those places that feels untouched, quiet, honest, and completely different from anything else you get to see in Georgia. And honestly, most travelers don't even know this side of Georgia exists. But now that you do, add Ushkuli to your itinerary. Come here, breathe this air, see these mountains for yourself, and trust me, this is one place you will never regret visiting. And that brings us to the end of this beautiful Svaneti Ushkuli chapter. Georgia keeps surprising me in ways I can't even explain. The mountains, the kindness, the quiet little movements, everything here is so beautiful. If you're ever planning a trip, please put Georgia on your list. You deserve to see a place like this. If you haven't watched my other episodes, I'll leave the links right here. Go binge them. They'll help you plan your entire Georgia trip. And if you enjoyed this vlog, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. It genuinely helps me grow and keeps me traveling to create more stories for you. Until next time, I'm Madeline Naik signing off. Bye!